How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another very somber Monday night live stream, but it will be a little bit therapeutic. Obviously, our Minnesota Vikings dropped one yesterday afternoon against the Los Angeles Chargers at home, US Bank Stadium. Already our second loss on the home front. Yeah, I mean, long story short, this team is 0-3, and they are searching for answers. Unfortunately, the same things keep happening every game. It's not like different things are happening. It's just the same mistakes are being made over and over and over again and compounding. And that's, I mean, 3 1-score losses, which last year we were winning these things and now we're not. And we're 0-3 and bottom of the division with the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And things just,
Thanking
things
for
aren't
Caleb
looking,
Williams.
yeah, things aren't looking great right now. But,
Yeah.
no, it is what it is. Like I said, this will be very therapeutic. I think we'll get a lot of frustrations out from a lot of different aspects of this team. And yeah, but that's my spiel. How are things on your end?
Let me start off here by after a loss like that, obviously we gotta appreciate everybody that still pops in to hear about it and talk about it. Hey, we got our boy Gary up in here. Blow it
Of
up.
course.
Blow it up. Oh, it's going to be interesting. The Mick Andrews. I saw
How's it
you down
going?
here, Casey and Jamie. What's going on, Mick Andrews? Happy to see
Uh,
you in here, bro. I made this one on time. Skull for life, our
Go
guy.
for
Let's
life. What's
go.
up?
Let's go. Let's go. So, yeah, like you said, man. I mean, 0-3, 0-3. I think what 3% chance that
Something
teams that's
crazy
going.
like that.
Obviously, the reality is we do have the talent, the offensive talent's there. I mean, I think these are three games in a row that we probably should have won if we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot every single time.
What's up,
So,
Sodak?
hey, what up, Sodak?
But okay, here's the thing that's frustrating me. Right, I'm about to go on a little rant here, and I'll end it with
Yeah,
I'll
let
end it
Casey
with
do his thing.
what you just said about the talent. That's how I'm going to end this. So
Okay, okay.
I have been since the day we found out he was being hired, right? I mean, obviously everybody was excited. Jim Harbaugh was in the building. There was rumors that we were going to get a seasoned veteran coach like Jim Harbaugh, who apparently had some shady recruiting practices. We won't talk about that. I believe that's what his suspension was for,
Yeah,
but
we could
whatever.
use that right now.
So, right. So, but instead of that, obviously we take the up and coming route. We grab a guy who coached obviously underneath Sean McVay for the Rams, a young gun, bright offensive mind, bright football mind, and so far all that is held up. Right, he has a very bright football mind. I love Kevin O'Connell, and I've been an apologist and a fan of his since the day we hired him. But yesterday was the first day that I will say I'm starting to have some questions. Right, like the old adage, this man has forgotten more football than I've ever learned, is 100% accurate. Like he understands the ins and outs of the game of football. No question. Kevin O'Connell is a tremendous leader of men. Like you just in the way he speaks, in the way the players respond to him, we all know that Kevin O'Connell's main attribute is he is a tremendous leader who cares about his players, and that's phenomenal. But at the same time, it's more than just being a leader to be a head coach of a football team. Like in any business, you can be at a phenomenal, like you need to be a good leader. If you don't understand the ins and outs of the industry you're working in, it's not going to work out, right? And Kevin O'Connell, as I said, you can hear it when he talks. He understands the ins and outs of offense and he understands how football works. But the things that keep popping up is just and we'll get into his play calling. We've talked plenty about that at this point. We got to talk about just his ineptitude at game management. It's terrible. It's awful. And yesterday was the point of this. Like play calling is its own thing. He calls the wrong plays at the wrong time. He gets boring when he starts out being way too boring and he doesn't get I'll have to stop my thing. I have it in my mind, but thank you to Evil to Hope. We appreciate the 10. This
Let's go
is
to evil
really coming together. Who we can trade it first? If we can't trade Kurt,
if we
should be
can't
on
drink
him.
her.
We'll we'll get into that in a bit here. But anyway, we
We'll come back
appreciate
to you. We'll come back to it.
we
I'm gonna
appreciate the
let
10 to Evil. Thank you for hopping in. We
we gotta
appreciate it.
let Casey finish his
Gotta let me go,
Kevin
man. You gotta let me go.
Connell thing.
But obviously the play calling, it's boring. And like you said yesterday, it's boring until it doesn't need to be, right? And that's the issue there with what have you. We'll talk more about that later, I'm sure. But I mean, and let's just start this whole thing with the microcosm of the entire season so far and the entire day was the last play of this football game, right? Where you convert a 4th and 6 to TJ Hawkinson. It's first down. There's about 30 seconds left on the clock, right? And I was at this game. I have to point out the fan base, idiot. I can't say idiots. I'm sorry. People
the people at the game are idiots.
The
Not
casuals,
everybody.
The casuals who are getting excited about this and they keep cheering. It's like, stop.
Casuals.
Justin Jefferson's out there flapping his arms, like, quiet down. How do the fans at this point not know when your offense is on the field, you shut the fuck up? I'm sorry, pardon my French.
Hey, no,
YouTube ain't gonna like that I said it, but you shut up when your offense is on the field. But also from the flip side, is you realize if you convert this 4th down, the offense, this fan base is ready for winning. They're ready for a team. They're ready for this team to win a freaking football game this year, right? So how do you not? How do you? And we'll throw Kirk Cousins in this. How do you, the head coach, and you, the quarterback, who Kevin O'Connell has been in the game of football since he played back with the Patriots in college, whatever. Kirk Cousins has been a starting quarterback for 10 years. How is it not ingrained in your mind that if you can't get the play call in, you go up there and you spike that damn ball and you get 3? You could have said the same thing about JJ back in the game against Eagles. You just get out of bounds there. You stop the clock. You have 3 plays in 30 seconds to score a touchdown. In this one, you just spike the ball and you have 3 plays. Kevin O'Connell overthought this to a large extent. He said, I wanted to get them stuck with the defensive personnel they had out there. I knew what they had out there and I wanted to try to get a play call off. Okay, cool. But as soon as you can tell Kirk isn't hearing you and the play isn't going to work, it needs to be said in the huddle. Here's the 2 plays we're going to go with. If something doesn't work out, we're just going to spike the ball. We're going to stop the clock. We're going to get to go.
Yeah.
Like, yes, the fans were, and they blamed it on the fans. And that's the thing. Yes, the fans were to blame a little bit for being too loud. But the fact that they said, the fan base, the crowd is too loud. Okay, cool. So you guys can't communicate. Spike the GD ball and have 3 downs with 30 seconds left to formulate a play instead of forcing something. And Kirk said he understood the gist of it, and he went out there, and he went with whatever play he had called. He said it was pretty much what Kevin wanted, and that's fine. But just the fact that it's not you're a head coach who thinks who's a football master, who knows the game of football, and you're a quarterback who's played this long, and you don't know that in that situation you just spike the ball and play another down. That's what me and my friends sitting at the game were like, dude, spike the ball, just spike it. And it's and here's the thing. He said we wanted to move fast, we wanted to get everybody out there. The offense, aside from a couple guys, were lollygagging, looking like they didn't know what was going on. And that goes, and this whole thing goes back to coaching, right? Kevin O'Connell always says we're situational masters. We have a meeting. I'm sick of rap. I'm more sick of KOC right now than I am Kirk, but whatever. But Kevin O'Connell's thing is situational masters. Every week we have our situational masters meeting. Situational masters, Kevin. This is a situation you need to master in this game. Goal to go. Clock out, clock running down. You need to score to win the game. You can't kick a field goal. You're out of timeouts because you probably wasted one somewhere down the road or earlier on in the game. If you want to talk about being a master of your situation, that's it. That's where your entire team should know. Here's the play calls. Here's the ideas we have at this moment. And they didn't know that. Ball security early on in the game. The ball getting ripped out of TJ Hawkinson's hands. The Madison constantly putting it on the ground. And you watch Madison in the 4th quarter running with the ball still in one arm when he's getting hit. Situational masters, Kevin. This fundamental shit. You coach that up. If you see that, Madison puts it on the ground 2 times, right? 2 times. Didn't lose either of them, but still put it on the ground. And you see him doing that late in the game. You grab him by his dreads. You pull him out of the game. You toss Ty Chandler up there. It's ridiculous. You want to talk about, again, the thing that bothers me is this guy talks about being situational masters in any situation where you need to score. And he completely just tossed out to the wayside at the end of this game. That was a complete mismatch. And he's done clock mismanagement before. We've seen it. Timeout mismanagement. He doesn't know how to manage his timeouts. And that's the thing. And this is all, and I saw Purple for the Win say yesterday, this is all compounded by the fact that he's the play caller. And his play calls, until he's down and he needs to do something, are not good. It's boring. Like you said, we had a disagreement in our ups and downs video about running the ball too much, right? Here's the thing. The first, the opening drive of the game, running the ball 5 times, I agree with it because it was working. And then that way you're able to set up your offense, right? was constant. It was consistently working. You were getting 3 to 5
Yeah.
yards a clip, and everything was great, right? But at the same time, the offense is still so boring. It's either run the ball up the gut or 5-step drops and try to shoot a deep ball, right? Like Jordan Addison, we had said he hasn't been being used like Jordan Addison should, right? Until the fourth quarter when we were letting him do his thing, being a route running savant, right? Like it's just, and then we finally let him do that at the end of the game, and everything worked. It's just, and the fact that situational masters, using your players to the best of their abilities, your best player, the best receiver in the game, doesn't get to catch a pass until the second quarter. Like, are you kidding? It's and again, and if you want to go back, let's go back to that final play for a second. That's not just on Kevin O'Connell. Like Kirk Cousins, like we said, the dude's been playing football for 10 years. You should also know you're lollygagging, all the time went off the clock. You're not hearing the play. Just say, screw it. I gotta get up there and I gotta just spike this ball and be done with it. And again, and I don't want to see, and it's not, and no. It's not all on Kirk Cousins. Like partially, sure. Was he too conservative at a lot of times during that game? Absolutely. But all of this comes down to the overarching leadership of this team. And that is the head coach, GM to an extent, right? Puts the players on the field, whatever. But I'm looking at the head coach in these situations because you got to be better. You've got to be better. And if you want, and here's the thing, if you want to be the play caller and focus on the offense, then you got to make sure you have this game management stuff down. And we did not. Like, is this Nathaniel Hackett? Is this where we have to hire a game management coordinator? Is that what we have to do? Like, Kevin O'Connell needs to pull his head out of his ass sometimes, man. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just, and I love the man. I think he's a phenomenal coach. He's a phenomenal leader of men. He knows the game of football, but you got to know the ins and outs of your job, and you got to know your game management. And it's Kirk's job to spike the damn ball. Sure. But here's the thing. You can't just, Sarah, I'm sorry. I love you. You always pop in here, but put some blame on the fucking coach. You can't just sit here and you can't constantly say Kirk Cousins. It's partially on him. But him and Kevin O'Connell are got to be like this. They need to be like, when we get out there, here's what we do. If this happens, you call this play. If this happens, you call this play. We also need to have communication that if we can't understand each other in a gotta have it situation, you spike the ball. And because the team didn't look ready at all, and that's another thing. Kevin O'Connell, he didn't play his players in the preseason, which if you expect them to come out ready to go. And game 1, they were not ready. Game 2 against Philadelphia, better, but still not 100% ready. This game, definitely not. Like, he had a plan, but in those situations when you need to have it, they didn't have it. And that goes back to coaching. Fumbles go back to coaching. Situational masters, fundamental masters, Kevin O'Connell. Fundamental stuff is holding on to the football. And now he's going to say, yeah. Now we're going to, if players can't hold on to the ball, we're pulling them out. It's like, cool. You're 0-3. Better to have that idea. You should have known this halfway through week 2, that this fumbling is a problem. Kirk has no heart is a BS thing to say. Kirk Cousins has a ton of heart. We all know that. Like, come on now.
The problem with
this
Kirk,
I'm just going to end this with Kevin O'Connell. I love you. I think he's going to be a phenomenal head coach. He has a lot to learn, and we're seeing that now. And that's, again, he has forgotten more football than I will ever know in my life, and that's fair. But we got to be better. And it starts at the top of this team. And Kirk Cousins is a part of that. He is the leader on the field. But yeah. And where was the awareness from Cousins? Exactly. And that's the point. That's why these two, that's the thing. Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins were supposed to be hand in hand in this game, in this thing. And they just aren't. It just, that last play just showed the miscommunication of things. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's, Jamie, I'm going to let you talk, but I just got to say, it's frustrating to me because I want Kevin O'Connell to be the next best thing. I want him to be a phenomenal coach. But Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, how many touches did he have? How many yards did he have? Because he knows to get the ball to his guys. And Kirk Cousins, what I'll say about him is he's not like a rah leader like that, but the fact that he stands in there, takes hits, all this stuff, people know, like, you respect the leader in that way. You don't need to be a vocal leader. Justin Herbert's not a vocal leader. He's pretty quiet, but he plays the game. He stands in there, takes hits, and he just plays the freaking game. And Kirk Cousins does that too. But again, it's on everybody. But everything beneath starts with leadership at the top. And Kevin O'Connell has a ways to go in that. And the play calling still isn't there either. And it's frustrating as hell to me. But Kevin O'Connell, I love you after all of this. I know you're going to figure it out because you are fantastic. But yeah, man, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Go ahead,
obviously
Jamie.
you hit it on the button with a lot of this. I do want to say, you said like Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins, they need to be like this. The only times they are like this is when they both want to be what's the word I'm looking for? Conservative. Like when the beginning of all these games are conservative, they seem to be conservative at the same time. The play calling's conservative. Kirk Cousins is conservative, throwing his check downs. The only time they decide to make creative play calling and Kirk starts throwing down the field is when we're behind in games. And we dealt with this all last season. We're dealing with it again this season. Unfortunately, this time we're not winning these games. We're losing these games that could have been losses last season, but I guess we did get kind of lucky there. And I also want to bring up because with Kirk Cousins being a leader, like I think he's a solid leader. He's a solid leader in the right times, but obviously, I don't know. There is situations with him where his leadership's questionable. I do think KOC is a good leader for the most part, but one thing about him is he's might be too loyal to some of his players. After Madison put the ball on the ground like 3 times, it might have been Casey, love your takes, and passion. You also just broke your out of game win streak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
did.
know you did.
Twice. Yeah, it's not
You
good.
did.
Anyway,
Yeah. So I don't know. With Kevin O'Connell, like Reisner should have been in there. To get rid of Ed Ingram should not have been in there in this game. That's another one. Jordan Addison. Don't worry about KJ Osborne. Jordan Addison's obviously better wide receiver, so you should put him in there. More than KJ Osborne, just stuff like that. But when it comes down to what happened at the end of the games, what doesn't make any sense, and I know you were there, you said the fans were too loud. Obviously that's what Kirk Cousins and the coach said. What was the penalty? That was a helmet to helmet on Madison? Is that what brought us to, or what was that? That brought us to closer to the end zone there. We were like, I forgot what it was. There was a penalty that did it. Anyways, it was like the next play where we knew we were close to the first down. We knew we could get a first down at this point. So you would think at this point, if the first down's within the 10-yard line, and you should have an idea like, hey, if we pass this first down, you should already know that the play is to go and spike the ball immediately. So that should have been already the play before the play to get the first down even happened. So that's one thing right there. I'm like, that's bad awareness right there. You should have already knew that, hey, you guys get past the first down, hurry up and go up and spike it. That's right. Should have already done that.
But that's the thing. And Sarah, I'm going to point this out again. Round up your team, let's hustle the line and get them to spike the damn ball. But that's got to be the coach.
And it has to be it's got to be the quarterback too.
Right. But guys,
it's got to be both of them.
I know you hate Kirk Cousins. I know you hate Kirk Cousins.
Obviously, it's not just Kirk Cousins.
But be reasonable here. Be reasonable. Like Purple Haze, you said your thoughts about Kirk Cousins, but yet you toss out you're not defending Kevin O'Connell. And that's fair. But like, if you hate Kirk Cousins, that's fine. If you don't like Kirk Cousins as a quarterback of the team, that's 100% fine. But put some blame on other people as well. Like the whole Kirk 100% fault. It's just so wrong, and it's so old, and it's so boring. Like, be real here. Be real. It's coaching to an extent. Like all of this situational stuff is the coach. Like it's so just overdone. Like
it's obviously not.
I am not here not putting the blame on Kirk Cousins, because if you like, that's the thing with him, and you're right about you're right to that extent, to where like if Kirk's up there, it's like, I can't hear this play. We got to just get up there and spike this thing. Like that's fine. Like I think that's 100% fair, but it needs to be communicated between coach and quarterback. Here's the scenario, and that's the thing. You go over scenarios that can happen. This is a first grade scenario. This is football 101. Goal to go, no timeouts, clock running, first down. We can't get exactly right there. We can't get the play call in, get up there, spike the ball. That needs to be both sides agreeing to the same thing. So basically what you're saying here is Kevin O'Connell, as long as he's been in the league, this is not on him at all. Like, nah, his quarterback needs to know this. It's not him. He should expect his quarterback to know this. Kevin O'Connell's there trying to call a play. He was not expecting it either. Oh, my God.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, I have nothing else to say on that subject.
It's up to the coach.
It's up to both of them. It's up to both of them.
Blaming everything on Cousins. It's so annoying. My God.
It's not even So
Holy
one thing
shit.
about actually before
I'm
moving on
sorry,
here,
but
I wanna call some people out. Purple Haze. I'm glad. Hey, thanks for popping in, brother. Thanks for popping in. Sarah's in. Sodak, Joey Hawking. Who else did we miss before this rant here? Jim NFL. What's up? What's up?
it's all love, everybody.
No, it's all love. It's all
I don't
love.
like losing. I don't like
Casey
losing,
needs to be
man.
pissed more often. Yeah, he does not like losing. And obviously I don't. It gets a that game is such a roller coaster for me. I can only get so mad so often at this. You lose another game like that, and you just I don't know. You get to a point where it's like, what do you do besides laugh? I don't know. That's how I get. Like after the first game, 3 turnovers, 4 turnovers, another turnover. It's like, all right, I was pissed on the first 6, but now it's like, I guess this is just what it is, which is absolutely insane. It makes no sense. But back to the Kirk Cousins and KOC thing, real quick, is I I don't think this game should have even came down to this spot. I think obviously the turnovers are killer, but I think it's the conservative play earlier on in these games. So far this season, we've been so conservative early on, and I do put that on KOC's and Kirk's shoulders. So that's definitely the play call. It's definitely a coaching thing for sure. Obviously, it's not just Kirk Cousins, and it's not even. And I'm not even. I'm on the side of Kirk. I'm like with like, hey, let's trade Kirk Cousins if it's an option, which is probably not. I'm on that side, but I mean, to be honest, of course, this isn't all Kirk Cousins' fault. This is definitely coaching. There's
So what the
definitely
fuck's the point of a coach then, Sarah? What's the point of a coach? Why have him? Why have a coach?
But I mean, there's a good point though. As far as that goes, I don't know if you're. I mean, I do agree with Sarah to some extent at the end here. I do think Kirk Cousins probably has the more. He probably should. I think Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, they go up and snap the ball. They're not. They're not waiting for the coach to tell them what to do. Not there. It's too obvious. As a quarterback who is the one on the field, he should be the one to go up and spike the ball. The coach shouldn't even waiting for a play call. You shouldn't even wait for a play call. You should already know what to go and do. So I do agree with Sarah on that. Not that it's not also the coach's fault. I do think it's definitely.
But here's the thing. I never once said that it wasn't on Kirk as well. I blame both.
Did.
And the thing that gets annoying is when it's never because I want to start looking at the future. I mean, if you want to look at the future of this team, the future of this team starts with Kevin O'Connell up here. And if him and Kirk aren't on the same page about spiking a ball in that situation, how are we going to expect him to be on that play with Caleb Williams? I mean, how are we going to expect him to be in that with a lower guy like Quinn Ewers? Like, how, like, it's just, we need to know that we're in the right hands here going into the future. And that's why this whole thing with the coach, and that's why I wanted to focus on the coaching, on this coaching aspect of this. Dislike Cousins if you want. We're not expecting him to be here after this season. I'm out. I'm not. I'm expecting him to be 100% gone. It is what it is, right? It's just, oh my God. It's just, I want to, I mean, if you want to focus on the future of this team, it has to do with your head coach going into the future and having him learn the game of football and learn, I mean, not the game of football, but learn the ins and outs of the certain things that happen within a game. And we just didn't see it. And like, it's just, that's why it's the same old tire stuff. The easiest thing is to say Kirk Cousins is at fault here. And is he a little bit? I was pissed yesterday. There was 3 or 4 plays where he, plenty of time, or he stepped up into the pocket just to find his check down and not shoot the ball deep. Like multiple times, Jefferson was running wide open early on in the game and he still looked to his, didn't even look in his direction. And he had his kind of, he was like, here's where I want to go with the ball. So like, so I'm not saying let's not blame Kirk Cousins because partially it is his fault. Because you said he's a 10, 12-year vet. He should know that stuff, and that's fine. But if you want to talk about the future of the franchise, it's the coach. It's Kevin O'Connell, who people think will be here for a long time. And we want to see him grow and learn all this stuff and put up in good situations. And that's my thing here. And people aren't getting it because they just want to jump right on Kirk Cousins. Let's fucking stop it. Let's stop the Kirk Cousins nonsense. I get it. You don't like him. You don't want him here. That's okay. I don't either anymore. I just want to move on. I'm tired of it all. But you got to look at the coach, man. It's the future of the franchise.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point.
So annoying
Yeah,
That's
Kirk
it.
is probably not going to be here next year, but KOC is 100% going to be here next year.
Exactly.
Unless we lose every single game. And then at that point,
Again,
we get
exactly.
Caleb Williams and he's still probably going to get a shot. That being said, again, every show, Justin
Oh
Jefferson,
yeah, that's right. We still do
rookie
that.
card. Hashtag Skulls in the comment. Like the video if you haven't already, but get those hashtag Skulls in. I don't care how many we have in here. I'm still going to run that card. Yeah, man. No, it's obviously, yeah. I mean, I put it on the coach more than anything. I think at the end there, I think it's fair to say Kirk Cousins should have spiked the ball. Kirk Cousins did end up throwing a catchable ball to TJ
Right.
Hawkinson even after all that should have been caught. Even though, if it wasn't so rushed, that's a problem though. It's like it was so rushed. That's the only reason why. Like you said, 30 seconds left, you spike the ball. You have 30 seconds to make 3 plays. No problem in this situation. You can definitely do that and have more time because in this scenario specifically, yeah, Kirk Cousins threw it to Hawkinson, who did have a guy in TJ Hawkinson's defense. It did hit him in the hands, but he did have a guy draped over him where Alexander Madison was sitting there absolutely wide open right to the left of all of that craziness. So, but it's just because it was so rushed. It was so rushed. It should not have happened that way. We should have spiked the ball, whatever. We all know how that works. But yeah, man. So, I mean, at the end of the day, though, we're 0-3. The problem with that is I feel like being 0-3, I think our offense is still too talented. Like everybody's out here saying that we have a bad team and we have a trash team and all this stuff. The unfortunately thing for all the people that says our team's just trash, the unfortunately thing for you is I don't think we're that trash, which
Right.
means
I agree.
we're on our way to another mid season and a mid round pick, whether you like it or not, because our offense is so good. We have Justin Jefferson. Our offense has like I said earlier, that's what's so annoying to me more than anything right now between Kirk Cousins and KOC is us
Wasting talent.
well, earlier in the games, wasting talent earlier in the games, and then when we're losing, all of a sudden we look one of like the best. We look literally like the best. Yeah, hey, at least our defense didn't give up 70 points. We look like the best offense in the league potentially. I mean, look how much when our offense is on, when we need to come back and win, we just threw the ball to Justin Jefferson with absolute ease. We threw to Jordan Addison with ease. That is how we should be playing from start to every single game. And we are not doing that. And that's a problem, which is also, it's an 0-3 start. I'm not sitting here. I don't know what I want right now. I don't know because 0-3, like I just think we're going to win games. And since I'm not thinking like, hey, we can still make playoffs at this point. It's not impossible. It's not impossible to make playoffs. But at this point, it's like we're either going to barely make playoffs or we're going to miss and we're going to have a shitty draft pick because our team is too good to lose every single game. We should beat like next week against Carolina. We should beat them.
We should.
But what do we? I know we were talking. I know this is what Gary wanted to talk about. Yes, you guys have to agree that we need.
But I will say my last thing here is that, like you said, when people want to talk about like are we bad? Are we good? We're not trash, right? Like this team is talented as all hell. There's talent, well, not at every level, but there's a ton of talent on this team. Too much talent to where you shouldn't be 0-3. But to say that this team is good is not right. And like the people that say like these teams aren't beating us, we're beating ourselves, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. That right to say we're not a bad team, or say this is a good team, we just shoot ourselves in the foot is a complete, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not flustered. It's oxymoron. It's not right. Whatever the word is, because good teams don't shoot themselves in the foot. Good teams don't become their own worst enemy. Good teams don't beat themselves. So to say we're a good team, but we just beat ourselves, I'm sorry, I can't agree with that.
Yeah, the thing is we're not
don't allow you to beat themselves.
Right now, we're not a good team, and we're not a trash team.
We're a 9-8,
and we all know where the fuck that goes. Oh, we all know where it goes, and it is the worst. I mean, honestly, I have to agree with Tuiva at this point. I would rather us just lose. I want to go grab a Caleb Williams or something like that. Hey, what up, Zoe?
What's up, Zoe? How's it going?
I'd want
you missed the fun.
Yeah, I want us to like either be a really good team that can actually win a Super Bowl, or I mean, even if you have to take some L's to get a guy like Caleb Williams, obviously
Yeah.
it sucks to go in a game. I'm going to always root for my team to win no matter what, but you have to be realistic here. And I want a Super Bowl more than everything. And you have to make tough decisions in order to have a Super Bowl. Like there is the people out there who are like, I'll never want a loss. I'll never go into a game and be like, I hope the Vikings lose, but I am aware enough to know. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yeah, probably will. But I'm aware enough to know that we can, or we just have to. I forgot. I lost my train of thought on that one. But that we, oh yeah, we might have to make some tough decisions. It might take some losing for us to actually do what it takes to win a Super Bowl. I don't care. I don't care if I go to into a game and I want us to lose. If it came down to the last game of the season and it was like Houston last year and they could have the first or second pick, I'm sorry. I'm hoping we lose that game. I want a draft pick. I want to do
At
whatever
that point, you might as well. Yeah.
At that point, you might as well. But some teams, some people are not like, you never should root for your team to lose, which I do get to some extent. I don't know. It's hard, but all I know is I want a championship, and we have to make some tough decisions in order for that to happen. Especially if it's this year, we're gonna lose Kirk Cousins at the end of the season. You already talked about it. That's definitely at this point 0-3. I just don't see how it happens, how it doesn't happen. I just right now there's no way we go into the playoff. If we sneak into playoffs, there's no way. I think, you know, we have some big playoff run at this point. There's too many deficiencies, I think. So, Kate Cousin, is there a Kirk fan standing off camera pointing a gun and you defend Kirk's bleep?
No, no, no,
That's
no,
so
no. But that's not the thing. I'm not, and I said it multiple times. I'm not defending the whole Kirk Cousins thing. I'm just like everybody
what
wants to
up,
talk.
Jose?
Everyone wants to talk about the future. And the
Hey,
future,
Jose, you're from Bleacher Report last night. Hey, thanks for popping in, dude. Appreciate you. Hey, I told you we give away Justin Jefferson cards. Let's do it again. Giving away
so
Justin
hashtag
Jefferson.
skull in the comments.
Hashtag skull in the comments for your chance to win this Justin Jefferson card, Jefferson card that we give at the end of the video.
Right. But yeah, but like the future of this team is the head coach, and this head coach we feel like is going to be here for a long time. So I just want to see him develop. And here's the thing. I mean, everyone's saying, you know, tank, be bad for a couple of years, time to move on, yada yada. Which, okay, to an extent, yes. But I know me and Jamie have differing. And that's the thing. I'm not full on like, oh yeah, he's going to want out of here. But the thing that does concern me a little bit is, does JJ had 2 years where the team was middling, 1 year with some success, 13-4, and then he's back down to this. Does he want to keep going on this path? Damn well knowing, yes, what can be done to improve coaching experience, 100% agree. But like him very well knowing whatever team, if he goes into free agency, there will be a team that pays him. And I want to go back to even the team we just played on Sunday. Keenan Allen, I mean, there have been talks about him getting traded. Mike Williams tears the ACL. He only has a couple years left on his deal anyway. Like, who's to say Justin Jefferson doesn't go, I want to go play with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, they probably want to have Austin Eckler, but me, or Justin Herbert, me, Quentin Johnson, because he's going to be there. They might get another running back. They have a decent offensive line, some pieces on defense. Who's to say he doesn't want to go there, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, I just don't want him to get to the point where he gets worried about the future of this team. And
I'm mostly worried for JJ. I'm not, like, obviously you were talking about it. I'm not. I think JJ isn't going to do that. I just don't think he's that kind of player, and we don't run into those players a lot. Where he's just going to be like, when it comes to this offseason, we'll know, because either he gets his extension immediately or won't speak in existence. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we could lose all these games and JJ still sticks around. I just think that's what's gonna happen.
I mean,
but you do have to hope so, and it's scary because I mean that's the one thing, like, hey, I'm down. I'm on the Caleb Williams train as hard as possible.
Right.
Do whatever you have to do to get Caleb Williams other than trading JJ. But that's the thing, because I think, well, with Caleb Williams, I think we look great for Caleb Williams. We have Justin Jefferson and we have his old receiver, Jordan Addison. So I do think, yeah, he should have extended him before. And then the other Quezzy fuck up, because I'm still pro Quezzy for the most part. I'm not out on Quezzy. His first draft was absolute ass. No question about it. We can't act like Jordan Addison isn't that guy. That
It's
was a
it's
great
it's
pick.
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad now. Now that
And then
like
Ivan Pace Jr. is absolute stud. But yeah, so far not
covering
great.
up that Brian Asamoah ends up really not being what we thought he was going
Yeah,
to
that's
be at this
crazy. That's a
point.
good question too. That is a good question. But the main thing is when when they give Kirk Cousins that extension,
Absolutely.
put the fucking trade clause. Look how bad this trade clause thing is fucking all of us. And I can speak for fucking almost every single person in the chat right now that damn trade clause is such a bitch because now we're in a scenario again, like we're 0-3. If somehow,
Hey JJ, what's going on?
I mean, hey, what up, JJ? All right,
It's a good
earmuff.
thing you're in here now. There was some not good
Yeah,
words being thrown around in the
yeah.
first
What
half
up?
of this.
What up, JJ? That's my boy right there. Where was I going with that? So,
There's something else about you're going to say the other Quasi mess up
I
outside
was
of
talking
the.
about with us being 0-3, and I mean, if we were to somehow lose against the Panthers, which would be absolute. If we lose to the Panthers, it's over. It's over. You're blowing everything up, and it just sucks. Like if it comes down to blowing things up, trading Kirk Cousins is barely an option, unless because I don't think he's going to want to go to the Jets. He
I
doesn't
don't.
like a person. See, that's another thing about Kirk Cousins. Maybe this is a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, but Kirk Cousins doesn't seem like he would probably care more about a chance to win, where he's willing to go to a team where he might be able, unless it was San Francisco. But I don't think he waives his trade clause, even if he's on an 0-4 team.
Right, for sure.
And we can't get anything out of him, even if we're at a stage where it's like, hey, it's time to be bad. I mean, if we trade players and get assets and we're just bad, it's not tanking. And just like Zoe said, then but the only way we could do that is if we were able to trade a guy like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Two
people, I do want to get back to part of your comment here. But one thing I did want is like to keep JJ around, obviously. I think the biggest thing is just believing in the leadership and the future of this team, which is why I want Kevin O'Connell just to make those improvements in his coaching style, just because that's what's going to help here. You're going to keep him around if he believes in the makeup of this team, the culture you're building, and the future. That's one of the biggest things outside of winning that is going to keep him here, of course. So that's kind of it there. But obviously I hope JJ stays for sure. And then let's maybe jump on Quasi a bit here because I do have some things to say about that.
One thing is I did actually forget about that, is that we play against Thielen, who's been looking pretty
He had
good.
145 yards yesterday and a touchdown.
Yard. He is probably. I mean, we should win. If we lose that game, it'll be insane. We should definitely not lose that game. But man, after seeing our secondary getting absolutely eat up this last game, I mean, Adam is going to come in with a chip on shoulder for sure. So it'll be interesting.
Zoe ain't no leadership. And that's what I mean. The leadership on this team needs to grow at the leadership perspective. So, I mean, it kind of
exactly.
But going back to Quasi, and let's kind of jump into this. Like last week, everybody got excited. Dalton Reisner's coming to town. Oh, the running game wasn't working. We traded for Cam Akers, which people weren't super excited about that. But Cam Akers is here. Let's go. Like, okay, cool. Quasi realized we need to add to this offensive line, and he did. And then in a gotta-have-it game, in a game where we ended up falling 0-3, those two players didn't see the field. Too little, too late. And you question. And I was a guy who when I saw the Davenport signing, I'm like, okay, guy with potential, some bad injury luck. Cool. The money's a lot, but you're really banking on him staying healthy. And then he didn't. And now you can question that move. Then you see Davenport in his press conference last week acting like he doesn't really care. I'm just like, that signing just looks worse and worse. And I'll give that one to Mateo. He called it months ago. And I was trying to believe. As you can tell, I was really, really trying to hold up. Like I've been trying to keep myself positive through the offseason, through a lot of this stuff. And yesterday kind of broke me. But also I've noticed that regardless of what you see here with me today, I'm not allowing myself to get so angry at these games anymore. Like it sucked seeing them lose, but also I'm just kind of whatever at this point. Like I wasn't even mad the Packers came back and won. I'm just like,
hold on 1 second here.
Just like, eh.
Hey Gary, what's with these? Wait, Gary, you got a channel going right now? What's going on here? Yeah, where do we find these guitar videos? Gary, I know
you're being awfully quiet.
Better come back in here. And tell us how we find your channel.
Yeah. But absolutely. It's like you can definitely question the building of this team as well from like the offensive line perspective. Like after that first game when Ingram just wasn't it, after the first preseason game when Ingram wasn't it, you get Reisner in here ASAP. And you don't bring him in to not play him right away. It's just frustrating. And I get it, like learn the playbook, whatever. But just, hey Reisner, line up here and hit somebody. It's you've done it for years. Just go do it. And they just didn't do it. That many fumbles in 3 games span is unacceptable. And that again,
that's insane.
fumbling goes back. People don't want to believe me, but fumbling goes back to coaching. At the end of the day, sure, player, but the players around the field need to hold on to the ball. Bench them if they fumble. Like you can't allow it that many times. It's a problem. It's just coaching is all of it. Like people, like again, players play.
Probably better than Ingram.
But as a coach, like that's your job. Is when you see a problem, fix it, and he hasn't. So,
there's a YouTube link.
It's like the thing that scared me is going back like with Sodak's comment here. We hired a guy from the Browns who then hires a reject from the Colts to advise him in his decision. Now seeing that like Andrew Berry building that team decided to go all, and whether it was his choice or not, ownership, whatever, going all in on Deshaun Watson and spending all that money, and now he's on the hot seat. Like if this team doesn't make it to the playoffs this year, he's probably fired. You're like, and this is Kwesi's mentor. Okay, all right, but
yeah. I don't know. I do think the Reisner thing, that is true. I mean, he does allow to get into shape or whatever, but still, I mean, you have Ed Ingram in there, so it's like, what do you do?
KOC said if players keep following, won't be playing, and that's fine, but it feels too late to me. Like this should have been after like the second game, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they still have hope. They're still having some hope. It will. I mean, KOC even said as well, like, hey, the Rams lost 3 games in a row and then ended up winning the Super Bowl. Obviously, I'm assuming
3 games in the middle end of the season. But,
end of the season. But whatever. He was still saying that. It'll be interesting. Obviously, we should go in this game. This game's going to be crazy because this is one we should go in there and absolutely destroy the Carolina Panthers to have any hope moving forward. And if we somehow lose to the Panthers, it's over. It's over. It's getting blown up because then we have Kansas City and San Francisco not too far after that, if not right after that. I forget if is it Kansas
Chicago.
City?
Yeah,
then
it goes.
And we'll just beat Chicago because they're bigger dumpster player than us. But
Carolina, Kansas City, Chicago, then San Francisco. If we lose to Chicago, then you might as well just fire everybody,
dude.
There's
like one team I don't. Just let us beat Chicago twice. Like let's win 4 games. 4 games, beat Chicago twice, beat the Packers twice, whatever. I don't know. I don't even know I want that. I'm on team. Let's go grab our quarterback. At
this point, me too. But I want to make sure we have the right leadership in place for that new quarterback.
And it is
because we've seen surefire quarterbacks go to spots where they're not properly coached, right?
Well, we just need
like Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if he's the same guy if he goes to the Bears. Going to play with Andy Reid, who knows how to use his talent. And that's the thing. And that's another thing. I feel bad because it feels like I feel like I'm not letting you talk at all. And I apologize.
You're good.
The other thing is I feel like I'm piling on Kevin O'Connell where I actually do like Kevin O'Connell. I believe in the future. But look at Mike McDaniel. I remember I joked yesterday. Can we go back and hire Mike McDaniel? Like, because that guy knows how to use his player. He used Tyreek Hill to the best of his abilities. Like he knows you got to use these players. You got to get the ball into your playmaker's hands. And he does that, right? So, yeah, I don't know.
No, it's tough. And you do make a good point. Like, obviously, the leadership is, I mean, we want those guys to succeed. But, you know, maybe there is a secret tanking. I don't know. This Caleb Williams thing, I know, was that right? Because there was the Sean Payton, KOC is the problem. Sean Payton, right after the game, he was on what's his name's show? Coward or The Herd or whatever. But like I don't know if it was right after, but he was saying that they're gonna have to change the rules because after this year, because everybody's gonna be trying to tank for Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Speaking of him, that was Chris Thomason or whatever.
That was awesome. I loved that so much.
Just gets after Sean Payton.
And he did the same thing he'd do to Zimmer. Like he wouldn't even ask a question. He would just point something out and then just
that's awesome. The reason why that dude's where he's at. That shit was so
I love
funny.
Chris Thomason so
Hey,
much.
what up after the review sports? Leadership is the best point. The regime has shown absolute zero ability to identify talent, or at least like push talent to the front. Like waiting too long to put Jordan Addison as wide receiver two. You could have argued last year with some of the linebacker stuff with Asamoah, even though we haven't seen any of Asamoah this year. The one surprise thing is the handling of Ivan Pace Jr. is completely out of what everybody's been doing, though, because you're taking an undrafted free agent and you boosted him up to all the way to starter from the start of the season. So that was a big surprise there. But I don't know. I think KOC is taking too long to bring better players forward. And this is again with Jordan Addison. There's no reason. KJ Osborne had a really nice catch and run, and that dive was always really fun. We know KJ has a ton of athletic ability. It doesn't matter. He still had one catch when Jordan Addison was not on the field that often in that first half. And all of a sudden they bring him out there and they start going to him, and he ends up with like 6 catches with 50 yards or whatever it was. And it's just obvious. Like, what are you doing waiting so long? Put your best players on the field. Just put your best players on the field. 2022 draft class is worst class maybe ever.
It's looking that way. It's really looking that way, unfortunately.
Right now, what was it? I think Ty Chandler's 16 snaps was
I mean, Ed
all
Ingram,
the snaps.
Ingram,
besides Ed Ingram.
Obviously, it is what it is. But
and we're holding on to Ed Ingram too long. That's another example. Ed Ingram sitting on the line for too long at this point. It is.
The same place. Yeah, and that's another thing. And like I thought, and that's why like going into the season, I was naive. I'm like, Kevin O'Connell just has the game management and all the leadership stuff you need down. So all he needs to do is improve his play calling. And now he's starting to fall back here, and he's staying average. He's staying right where he was last year. It's like to start the game, it's either run up the middle or 5-step drop, deep shot, punt. Like that's just kind of how it goes, right? Like there's no rhythm to this offense. And that's why I was kind of, going against your thoughts about running the ball too much, because I like to see that. I like to see that he wants to formulate some sort of balance. If the run works, which it did, and then you're able to pass the ball. And that's what I want to see from his offense.
That was one. I wanted to touch on that actually 1 second, because that's one thing that was annoying to me is when I watched that, when we ran the ball that many times, which I was cool with running. Like I agree with you to an extent where obviously
if you're working though, that's a big thing.
If it's working, but then at some point, like don't forget that you still have Justin Jefferson. Yeah. Like if you're a good coach, you will know if the run's working, you're better in
play action.
Justin Jefferson, play action. So I literally called it watching that play. It was 5 runs in a row, 6 runs in a row. We're first down in there in like at their 40 or whatever. And right now it was like, all right, this is a perfect time for a play action. You just ran the ball 5 times. It's first down, perfect time. They run the ball again, get eaten up. Of course the defense is going to expect that. And then it was like, again, I was like thinking it's good now. Second down, it's going to be a play action 100%. And of course the defense is going to know it's going to be a play action after 6 runs. One finally gets stopped, and now you do a play action pass. And of course that play action pass was a little short one to Oliver. And then of course TJ Hawkinson after that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, even if you're running down, if you're running down and it's running the ball and it is working, still don't go away from what you guys do best. Like that was a perfect time for a play action, I think. So I don't know. I think they should do that. But with the run game in general, I mean, we weren't really, when we started coming back on them, there wasn't a lot of runs. They knew exactly what we were going to do every time. We were going to throw the ball and probably to Justin Jefferson. And that's what we did over and over again. And it worked because that's how talented they are.
Yeah.
And that's why you should be passing the ball to JJ as much as possible.
And then kind of going into Zoe's point here, like no play design for Jordan Addison at all. Like I had thought it was weird how they were using Jordan Addison up until the second half of this game, because Jordan Addison, I feel like he's like, to be consistent, you want to control the clock, be able to chew up some yardage. And I feel like too much of our game is just downfield stuff. Jordan Addison is perfect for grinding clock and picking up yards because he's such a good route runner. And on the last couple drives, we actually did. He had short outbreaking routes. We've seen he can take the deep shot. He's done that. Like now I want to see him be involved in the offense more than like just the middle plays of a drive. And that's what he's best at, to extend drives. That's Jordan Addison. He runs amazing routes and he gets open. And we saw that finally when Kevin O'Connell took the training wheels off of this offense, just kind of let it go. And that's what we need to see more out of this offense. I mean, it's just like Jamie said yesterday, we don't unleash what we can do fully until it's too late and we're already losing. And then
And I
Like,
think that's literally
and
our
then when we're
biggest
winning,
problem.
it's conservative again. It's run the ball up the like 5-step drop pass, run the ball up the middle, screen pass, punt. Like foot on the gas.
The whole time. Be like the Miami Dolphins last game. They dropped 70 points on the other team's head and didn't stop. They didn't end up kicking that last field goal or whatever, but still, 70 points. We should be playing like that for an entire game. I do think that is the biggest problem for this team. Our defense obviously isn't perfect, but we all know that. We didn't come into this season thinking our defense was gonna win us games. We knew our offense was going to have to win us these games.
Mm-hmm.
And that means you need to come out. If that's the case, you should do whatever you can to get it up as many points as possible, because you have to understand that your defense might fall at some point during these games. And we're just not doing that. We're being very conservative. We're not trying to do whatever we can. We're trying to control the clock, whatever we're trying to do. And we're just being way too conservative until we're losing. And then all of a sudden, oh, we're just like one of the best offenses that you can have. I don't know.
Yeah. I want to go back to JJ here. Do we think the Vikings took too big of a step putting Kevin O'Connell as head coach? JJ, I say no, because I think the biggest thing when they were interviewing coaches is the thing that they didn't like about Harbaugh is he came in there basically expecting the job. The thing that sold them on Kevin O'Connell was not his offensive philosophy, but his philosophy about coaching a football team. And that's his greatest strength is he's a phenomenal leader of men who knows the game of football. So he knows how to coach. And I've never once denied that. I'm not denying it now. It's the issue is, and that's where you could probably say that. I think he should have hired somebody. He should have said, here's what I want to do on offense. Do it. And I'll oversee it. I'll help you come up with the plays. But Wes Phillips, you call the offense, because I need to learn how to. I know football. I know how to be a coach, but I need to know the ins and outs. The ins and outs of the game management aspect of a football team, right? So I don't think it was too big of a step, because I think he's a phenomenal coach. But it's just, I don't love him as a play caller. And I don't think
so far
he's shown me he hasn't learned from last season, unfortunately. And it's just like the thing with the Rams is they had a pretty damn good offensive line. You could do that type of offense with Matthew Stafford moved a little more than Kirk Cousins, and he was willing to take more risks. You could have that type of offense with Stafford because of that offensive line they had there. Where our offensive line isn't the same. Kirk isn't as mobile. He gets into his shell. He does get too conservative sometimes. See, there you go. I blame Kirk Cousins. Everything's fine. And it's just there's just aspects of the offense that I just don't love. But I still think Kevin O'Connell's the right guy for the job, because I just think he's that good of a leader and that good of a coach.
And the coach get behind him and everything.
Football, man. He knows the game. Yeah. It's the little ins and outs. That's the stuff. If you weren't so heavily involved in the offense, you could take more time to study everything else, right? So
yeah. Is our offense better or worse than John DeFilippo? I mean, it's better. It's better. I mean, at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins is leading the NFL in passing yards. Justin Jefferson's leading the NFL in receiving yards. We're 0-3. That's true. But it's still our offense is good. Our offense is definitely good. It's just we
sold him a dream.
Well, the turnovers are killing us. And being too conservative. We shouldn't allow. None of these games should have came down to the end. Like, we all talk about the end of this game, the last 30 seconds, and the fans, and not spiking the ball and all that stuff. But it's like it shouldn't come down to that.
No.
Our offense is too talented, and we should be playing like that earlier in the beginning.
Right. Absolutely.
It's way different now.
Yeah.
There's no reason we're too talented. Obviously, all three of those games we should have won. It shouldn't have came. This one specifically should not have came down to the end of the game.
No. And then the fumble monster doesn't help either, right? That game is a totally different ball game if we stop them on the first, again, win coin toss, defer, stop them, score. That turns the tide of that entire football game. And the turnovers reared its ugly head again, and your starting drive ends with the turnover, and your ending drive ends with the turnover, and that's basically at the end of the day what did you in.
What up, Scoldger Soup, Jamie Casey? What happened? We were 0-3. A lot of things happened, but we're blaming it on the coach and Kirk. Well, I'm not really so much Kirk, but as far as just the game should never have ended the way it did. We were just talking about how we should be playing like Paul hits it. on the button here, no urgency. We
Yeah.
don't play like we should always be playing
Until you
that
right.
we're urgent to score points, but we only do it when it's actually urgent. That's the only time we try to play like this. It's like it's not just magic that all our players and Justin Jefferson are just start getting wide open every time we're losing a game. That doesn't make any sense. That's the only time that happens. No, I don't think so. I did do a poll in here that was 9 votes. Stay competitive or tank. We got 11% say competitive. We're at 89% says tank.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Oh, by the way, the Chargers coach knew the Vikings offense was a joke when he went for it on his own 24-yard line. The Vikings,
Yeah, I know. That was crazy. I can't believe he did that.
we
Saved
saved
his
Brandon
job.
Staley's job. If he
Yeah.
doesn't convert that, or he didn't convert that, if he loses that game, if I'm ownership, I say, how about you just find the next Greyhound bus back to LA? We're gonna take the plane. You can walk or do whatever. I'm just like, whatever. I just got here. Don't know if you said already. We had a bit of a little rage
Oh yeah,
session to
Casey.
start
You
this
missed
bad boy.
Casey's his
Yeah, I got
little
pretty fired up.
dialogue that he had. Oh
Kind of
yeah, he
fun.
did. He did. He got them all out. He got it all. How you guys feeling competitive or tank? I just hear don't know. Yeah. I'm saying I'm like I don't think competitive. I think this is what happens at 0-3. It's more of like I don't think we can tank. I think we are too good to tank. I think our offense is way too talented to tank. So I don't think that's an option. And as far as staying competitive, that is potentially an option, but I do think it's just going to lead to us maybe making playoffs, maybe or missing playoffs, and then we're just the same old 8-8 type of team, or 8-9, whatever it is now. So I don't know. I mean, if it was up to me, I wish that we didn't have a trade clause on Kirk Cousins and we were able to trade him, get something for him. And we did. We just made our team worse instead of tanking or something like that. And then we go and grab Caleb Williams, because I don't care what anybody says. Caleb Williams is the truth. He's going to come in this season or next year. He's going to be a rookie next year. And I don't think anybody's going to be waiting too long for him to succeed.
Yeah. I watched some more of his I watched his the game that who did they just play? I think it was another kind of no-name team, but
I forget, but they play Colorado this Saturday.
Watching that guy play though, like I understand the hype. I understand the Caleb Williams hype.
It's not even it's because Caleb Williams can do things no other quarterback ever in the history of football could do, other than Mahomes, but Caleb Williams is more athletic.
Like aren't there people saying like that they already kind of think he's at where Mahomes is now? I thought I saw a rumor of something like that. Which
I'm sure there's people saying shit like that. I'm not going to go that far,
right?
But
yeah, no.
I mean, who knows how good he'll actually be? But there's no question he's extremely talented. He might be the most talented. He might be the most talented quarterback ever to come into the draft.
Yeah. What's the Duke guy's name?
Drake May.
No,
that's North Carolina. Who is the Duke guy?
Shoot, I know. Yeah, after he played really well.
I know. How about what's that? Is it Michael Penix? Michael Penix. He's the one
for Washington.
He's leading.
Riley Leonard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
like Michael Penix Jr. Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis is the Florida State guy, right? Yeah, he looked good. Bo Nix. No,
that's
Bo Nix is Oregon, but he looked really good against Deion's.
He's going to be an interesting player because Bo Nix gets no love. That dude gets so much hate, and he's just putting up numbers.
He's been in the league forever. He's been playing college football.
He was supposed to be. He was like a 5-star recruit out of high school stuff too, wasn't he?
He's only 23 years old,
which is kind of old for people would say. I mean, 24 going into the NFL, but FSU, man, there's a lot. And then obviously we saw Colorado shit the bed this last weekend.
but Shadur Sanders is still going to end up being up there by the end of the year. We know that. I mean, Quinn Ewers, I'm a big Quinn Ewers fan. Like, I think
he's no one's really talking about him now.
Right. I mean,
Saturday or something.
I don't know if you're going to love him as much as I do, because he is more, he can move, but he's more of a pocket guy who just kind of like,
want him
will move when he needs to move.
I got PTSD for the rest of my life. I need some movement out here.
But like Drake May, when you watch Drake May play, he's definitely more of a Justin Herbert type. Big kid, big arm, can move, but he's not. But so far he hasn't been that impressive. so far at this
Then we
point.
aren't tanking. We just lose because we suck. That would be if we just play the Lewis scene the rest of the year. That's what I'm saying. Like if Kirk Cousins, that's what I'm saying. Like if Kirk Cousins is good enough to make us an 8-8 team right now, he's good enough to maybe even sneak us into playoffs. Is he good enough to win a Super Bowl? Jury's definitely out on that.
Yeah. Ewers
100%.
plays to his competition, and that's the thing. I'm not a huge college football guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I should watch more. I've been busy. I watch highlights, honestly, to be real.
Check
But
down too much, Drake May.
yeah, I mean, I
Sanders
think
staying. You think he's
hey
gonna stay at
Mateo, what's going on,
Colorado?
man?
Hey, what up, Mateo? That's because Bo Nix ran away from playing against good teams, leaving Auburn to play in the WAC-12. Also, no, I don't want
Mhm.
Penix 2 ACL tears. That was Quasi special, though.
That's a Quasi special
That's a
though. Yeah.
crazy special. That's the thing about Penix is even though he's lighting the league up, when I watch him, I don't know. I feel like I see some technique issues a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if I keep seeing him throwing off of his back foot a lot or what it is, but I need to watch more. I need to watch more of Penix. Even though he's lighting the league up and he plays for Washington. I didn't even know Washington was ranked 8th. Like when is Washington a really good team? But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this quarterback thing. And I do think we're at a point 0-3. The front office is at least looking into some of these quarterbacks for sure now. They already were. It feels
Right.
obvious that we're going into this draft looking for a quarterback. But man,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to speed that one up, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's unfortunate because that is going to be. I mean, that's the spot they put themselves in, though. It's going to be a heavy Vikings talking point for the rest of basically the season since you start out 0 and whatever at this point. But
If you don't
yeah,
like May, you better. I like Herbert a lot, even
yeah,
though there's a couple times against us even where it's like he should have just ran the ball. There's a lot of times where obviously I don't know if we touched on it on this video at all, but we like the pass rush that Flores brings, but we just don't have any players outside of Hunter other and Ivan Pace Jr. that are great pass rushers. So it's like you'd see the pass rush coming, but Herbert would always stay clean in the pocket. But there's a couple times with Herbert where it was like there's easy running room right in front of him, and he decided not to take it. But I would take that. I mean, if we feel confident, I need to look more into May once we get towards the end of the season and stuff here. I get too busy watching our stuff, but I'm going to be diving into these quarterbacks more. Even
I'd
though
have to.
what's that?
Might be boring to talk about the actual team that we already have, and so I'll start looking forward to next year.
Yeah, we're already talking. I'm ready. I want Caleb Williams. Do whatever you can. Unfortunately, Justin Fields is so bad that the Bears are probably going to end up with him at this point.
Could you imagine? It's gonna
I do
suck.
not want to go again. Do not want Caleb Williams in this division on another team. Also, Caleb dinks and dunks more than May. May plays in structure while Caleb made your boy Addison look bad while Addison looks way better with Kenny Pickett. I don't know, man. I can't agree with you on this. I think
I'd
not
rather
saying that he
I'd
doesn't
rather
dink
have
and
Drake
dunks,
May over Kenny Pickett.
but
Or sorry,
Caleb
Caleb Williams. Yeah.
Caleb Williams, he can dodge 10 tackles and throw off of his back foot 60 yards down the field. Kenny Pickett can't. No one can do that. No one can do that. Other than
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. So, I don't know. There's levels as far as what your potential and your ceiling can be.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Caleb Williams is insane. He
Yeah.
looks insane. Doesn't mean, I mean, obviously you have to make it to your receivers, but so far, I don't watch him enough, but even statistically wise, I mean, he's pretty accurate. 18 touchdowns, 0 interceptions this year. I think Caleb Williams is one of those guys where it's not, I don't know. I just think he's so good. I think there's going to be people out there wanting him to be bad, of course, but
Yeah. But at the end of the day, our Minnesota Vikings are unfortunately 0-3. I mean, I thought this game was a must win, but now you're going into a must win against Carolina. If you go on the road and you lose to Carolina, I mean, at that point, there's
we
like,
already
there's
doing that.
zero hope left. I mean, there
Yeah,
already is.
pretty much
There's not a lot of hope, but there's absolutely zero hope if we lose to Carolina. So if you want to talk about a must win, this is it. You got to win this game. You got to win this game. You got to steal one against the Chiefs. You got to beat the Bears, and you go into playing home San Francisco Monday Night Football. then whatever. But yeah, to Dalton. Andy Dalton might be starting for them next week. Like, at least let me watch Bryce Young for a game. Like,
Yeah, I want to see how he's doing. Because
yeah,
so far, Bright out of Bryce Young, Shroud, and Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young is looking the kind of not he's not doing as well as the other two so
right.
far.
But I mean, his team is, I
Trade
feel like
Addison to Steelers for TJ
much less
Watt.
talented. To TJ
If they
Watt.
would
Oh, and
do that, I would do that. I love
kind of
Addison, but I'm taking TJ Watt if that's an
yeah,
option.
and that's kind of something. And that's kind of something that we can talk about as well. With, I mean, go to the defensive side of the ball with the play calling and the team building in general. Like Danielle Hunter, I like Danielle Hunter. I don't think Danielle Hunter is Nick Bosa or TJ Watt. He doesn't have those type of, like, he doesn't have that big of an as big of an impact as guys like that have. But also, it's hard to tell if he actually does or doesn't, because the other side of the defense, like, we have no passers up the middle, and with Davenport being out, who knows if he make a big difference anyway.
What up,
But we're
Maurice?
getting no pressure from the other side of the defensive line. So do we know for sure that it's just that the fact that Neal's not that impactful, because he's shown a lot of impact? I think, again, I'm saying he's impactful, just not as much as a TJ Watt or Nick Bosa, but also we're not seeing the full extent because you can focus on him because we have no pass rush from anywhere else, which doesn't help with our aggressive play style because they're taking advantage of it all over the place. If with all the pressure we're bringing, one sack, it's
Jamie
not
to a
good enough.
poll. You rather suck this year or trade draft future? Ooh, that's a good question.
Draft
I
future.
would I would rather suck. The only thing, like, I don't want us to lose. I'll always root for us to win. But if we were like, I felt like we should really tank, I would. I think Justin Jefferson is the only thing that stands in my way. Like, I just feel like Justin Jefferson does not deserve
Right.
on such a shitty team, and that's what gets me. But obviously, man, if we just happen to suck this year and we got Caleb Williams instead of trading the draft future for Williams, uh, I would rather do that. But I would also trade draft future for Williams. I know Mateo isn't a big Caleb Williams guy. I don't know. I think I'd have to literally see Caleb Williams come in this league and fail to believe that at this point, because he
Yeah.
looks good.
But it's like, it's one of those things, like, it's gonna the next like few months depresses me just because, like, watching losing football or whatever. But let's say we do decide to draft a quarterback, like, once it's done, like, once the draft is over and we have the guy in house, then the excitement's gonna grow, right? Because, like, I'm just gonna get sick of losing and having to listen to all the Kirk Cousins trade talk and this and that and the bummer show that we're gonna have here. Once that's all out of the way and Kirk walks and we draft the next guy, then I'm gonna start ramping up the excitement. Right now, it's just kind of I just don't care. And I hate to say it because I love this football team. I love football. I love the Vikings. I love to watch and win. But, like, I was mad at certain points. Obviously, like, there's things about this that make me upset. It's just because the future of this team rides on the coaches we have now. Because, like, otherwise, we're looking at a complete restart where you bring in a new GM, new coach, and they pick what quarterback you want. I think the plan is in place to let O'Connell and Kwesi have their choice at quarterback. But I just hope that I want to know we have the right leadership that's going to take that quarterback and develop them right. So then in 3 years, we're not right back where we are right now, having to dunk everybody off and start over. So I just,
Still,
okay, that's a rough comparison. I
that's a
don't
rough.
love the
They're not
comparison.
even close. Come on, Mateo. That's not even close, dude. They don't have nearly the talent Caleb Williams have, and not to mention the stats either. But I mean, Caleb Williams can do things no other quarterback ever has been able to do, other than Mahomes.
So I am tired of
It's
talking about Kirk Cousins
crazy.
and listening to people talk about Kirk Cousins because I get it a
Like,
lot. We all get it a lot.
yeah, it's hard. So it's gonna be interesting. One thing is that, at least, well, it's shitty that we can't talk about Kirk Cousins being traded, but at the same time, like, we know he can't get traded. Dale said those guys were can't miss. I don't know. I mean, Caleb Williams is at the point where they're saying he's the best prospect since Andrew Luck, if not better than Andrew Luck. So Caleb Williams has to be the most hyped quarterback I've seen in my lifetime, honestly, coming out of the draft. Yeah, I think Caleb Williams is he's as the most hyped I've seen. I mean, even coaches
Trevor
are.
Lawrence is pretty hyped though on his
I
way
think
out.
I think this is getting bigger than Trevor Lawrence was pretty huge. But as far as upside goes, as far as like what someone's ceiling is, Caleb Williams is
Yeah,
out
Mateo,
there.
I agree with that.
But yeah, I know that's the thing is it's getting to the point now where yeah, Kirk Cousins at the end of the season is gone. It'll be interesting to see where our Viking fandom can divide then at this point, starting with KC, it's going to be the KOC people and then the not KOC people.
But here's the thing. Like, I still love Kevin O'Connor. And I've said that multiple times. That's why I want him to, like, I'm frustrated that he hasn't. And again, here we are. Like, I am, just a fan, and I'm not in the building. I'm not a coach. So it sucks to say this type of stuff because I hate people that try to act like they know more than the people who are actually doing the job themselves. Because, like, but it's like, just from a fan perspective, like, we've seen this before. Zimmer was the same way. He coached his defense, but never learned the ins and outs of game management.
Yeah.
And that was his downfall. His leadership style got old, and it's just, I just don't want to see that happen again, because I want to see his team be successful. I want it sooner rather than later. And does having this team become successful sooner mean sucking this year and drafting a quarterback? It absolutely might. And that is absolutely a possibility with this team. But I don't want to sit through 4 years of, I don't want to be the Browns. I don't want to be the Lions. I don't want to sit through like 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of new GM, new head coach, draft a quarterback, get rid of quarterback, draft next quarterback, doesn't work, fire GM, head coach, hire a new one, draft quarterback. I don't want that to happen. Like, I want this team to be good sooner rather than later. Last season, talking about a winning team was so much fun, even though we still had the divide about the quarterback itself. And no matter what, there's always going to be that divide. Like, there's probably not a lot, but there's probably some Chiefs fans out there that probably will shit talk Mahomes a little bit. I mean, I could be wrong. I probably am, but like, I could see it being that way. But it's just like, I want this team to be good, and I want everybody to be able to agree on who's in charge, who the quarterback is, and all that comes from the top down approach with coaching, GM, players, quarterback, all of it. And it's tough right now because it's just, everything seems so discombobulated after a really good season last year. Well, a season last year where the record was good. And that's why I had hope, because Kevin O'Connell, I hoped he could take last year, some of the lucky bounces we got, and just like motivate his team and grow. And so far, the 0-3 start is just frustrating with me. So, and yes, Joey Hawking, exactly. Head coach, yes. The guy's brilliant, a brilliant football mind, but just the ins and outs of the game itself and play calling, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. And moving forward, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how things look. Obviously, this Carolina game, if we lose, things blow up for sure. If we win, I don't think we're sitting in a much different situation than we are today, because they're literally arguably the worst team in the NFL. So it'll be interesting. If we win that game and then we go into KC and we ended up beating the Chiefs, maybe things will look a little bit different. But man, I don't know at this point.
And this as well, like,
yeah,
like when people, and then today, but like, that's when today he's like, well, yeah, I mean, now if people can't hold the ball, we're gonna get other people in there. It's a week too late for that, man. Like, this was an issue the first half of the second game, and like, I mean, I understand you can't fix it at halftime, but it's just, and that's the thing. It's like, we need to finally, and hopefully this week we'll see that with benching Ed Ingram and getting a Reisner in there. That's just, things need to change. They need to change fast.
Mateo, you do make a good point here. Luck played in structure, while almost all of Caleb highlights are from diving against bad
ad-libbing.
All right. Anyways, against bad teams,
doing his own thing.
In playing in more structure, I would believe, or I'm not whatever.
But that's what you want, isn't it? The like, not having to play in structure.
Me in general, I want you to play in structure.
Well, right.
Obviously, like, the idea of a pro style offense, I think, is important. I want you to be able to also play not in structure, and that's one thing. Like, I mean, that is a good point, and we'll see what happens with USC the rest of the season. Obviously, they're blowing out teams. This is going to be a good test against Colorado. You're good, buddy. You're good. But we're playing against Colorado, or they're playing. I said we. All right. I'm not a USC fan. So I'm not even. It's not even anything to do with that. But the thing with Caleb Williams is, out of all these players, the fact that he can dodge 8 tackles, keep his eyes down the field, make a throw off his back foot and toss it 60 yards, strike perfectly to a player. That's just stuff that doesn't happen. That's just stuff that no quarterback's ever been able. I've never seen a quarterback do the stuff that he's doing, not with that kind of athleticism, and that's including Mahomes. Not saying he's going to be anything not as good as Mahomes, but he is doing stuff I haven't even seen Mahomes do, and that's just. I mean, you're right. He should play.
True.
Johnny Manziel was a good one. Johnny Manziel, but not like this. It is not like this. Johnny Manziel could do stuff like that, but it isn't like this one. And the thing with Johnny Manziel is who knows how he could have played. Who knows how good he could have played. He didn't care about football. That was the reason why Manziel. I mean, he could have been good for all we know. He just didn't give a shit.
Though I feel like Mike Williams is definitely
Or Caleb Williams.
No, Mike Williams
Oh,
is
Mike Williams.
definitely deserves Mike Williams. Mike Evans. Goddamn.
Mike
Evans is
okay.
definitely is a man who should take a lot of credit for Johnny Manziel's college career because he had a lot of Johnny Manziel scrambling, tossing it up, and Mike Evans coming down with it.
Caleb Williams is crazy talented. At the very least, he is just insanely talented. One of the most talented players to ever come into this draft. How that will hold true. Obviously, he still has a Heisman. He's still right now they're undefeated. We'll see what happens when he plays more important team more difficult teams. Yes, he did, and Manziel did it against good teams. He owned Bama, but LSU made Manziel their bitch. We'll see what happens with Caleb Williams. We'll see what happens. So in the draft, we will either end up with a generation talent or a drug addict. We got a 50-50 chance. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Hey, we got to make this one right. It's going to come down, like, regardless, I've said this before, regardless of it, anybody feels about Kwesi, it's going to, this draft, this quarterback that he picked in the first round, it's either going to, that's what everything's going to ride for him, is whether this quarterback turns out or not.
And that's what I've said. And that's why I think they were letting him the first couple seasons. We have a financial crisis to kind of get out of, which we're starting to a little bit. I mean, obviously you got to look at the Kirk Cousins cap hit next year, the 28 million up front. It's going to hurt, but at least then it's off the books. You don't need to worry about it. But I think they were really setting it up for see what you can do with the team we have now. And then after that, we'll draft and we'll go from there. Like we're going to give you guys your opportunity to pick the player you want. So
top 6 rookie quarterbacks taken in the first round. We're going to be picking in teams unless we trade up. Top 6 quarterbacks you take. It's hard for me. I don't know because there's so many quarterbacks out there. Like we've already mentioned, a lot of them.
Based off what we hear, we could.
And I can't. It's so hard to like which one. Obviously, we hear Caleb Williams and Drake May. Then Bo Nix. You talked about Ewers, Sanders, Penix Jr. Who am I missing?
Jordan Travis,
JJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
all those. But how many? Like in my head, like everybody's hyping these guys up as first rounders. But how many by the time draft comes around are actually going to be considered? Like, are all of them going to be first rounders? I doubt.
Well, then are there going to be some who aren't right now that eventually work themselves up into that stratosphere of first rounders?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I know like everybody, I can't go on like Caleb Williams and Drake May are the only two at this point that I think are for sure.
Right.
Not just going in the first round, but the top 2 picks.
And I feel like they're two totally different like thought processes, like where like from the perspective of the fans and the media and whatnot, like Caleb Williams is this guy who's polished. I mean, polished, can move, can do these things that nobody else can really do. And then you got Drake May, who's more of just like your prototypical. He has all the raw skills you need, the size, the arm, enough athleticism, but he needs to work on it. So it's like you almost have two totally different guys, or one of them you're banking on the Patrick Mahomes-esque things he can do, and the other one's more of just that prototypical what you want in a modern-day quarterback. So
yeah, and by the way, everybody in here, I believe Justin with Purple and Gold for Days should be going live right after our show or shortly after. So definitely go over there and tap in and subscribe to his channel if you haven't already.
Yeah.
But anyway, you missed. Gotta follow up to see the full show later. Oh yeah, you missed. Casey threw it down tonight. He threw it down 100%. Monologue for the ages.
Monologues for the ages.
All right, we're gonna run this card here soon. Justin Jefferson rookie card, of course. Get those hashtags goals in the comments. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Got to be here to win. Everybody already knows that. Maybe I should get this up. And then, yeah, I don't know. Going forward, I don't know. I don't know what you do. Obviously, we're going to try to win still. I think our team's too talented. Starting 0-3 sucks because even if we catch on, it still feels like we don't have much chance.
JJ's going hard on the hashtag skulls. It only counts one time, kid. Come on now.
I like it though. I respect it, JJ.
Yeah, you gotta.
I respect it.
And
He's coming
again,
in
I
hot.
mean, I will say this for anybody who watches later, anybody who has watched. I didn't mean to offend anybody with any of my ranting stuff. It's just it's the passion that we need from this fan base, you know.
This is the passion we need from our team. This is a passion we need from Kirk Cousins, baby. That's what we need.
Yeah. But all right, let's roll. We got football to watch tonight, man.
Sounds
Two
good,
games
Gary.
going on, both with big fantasy implications for me. So
It's not looking great for me.
it's not looking great for me either in either of them. I
I'm
played
against-
Raheem Mostert in both of them this week.
Ooh. All right. Oh, someone just popped in here with a Mateo. It's okay, Casey. It comes from the heart. Oh, yeah. That one came from the heart. KG, stop it. Keep it real, bro. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that's what we got to do. That's what we got to do.
Absolutely.
He does this to us. Why we let a team do it to us, I don't know, but we do. That's why we're all here. All right, I'm going to run this. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Who we got? Is it JJ? He had the most goals, hashtag goals I've ever seen in here at one time. Boom. Oh,
Let's go.
does this work, man?
Let's
go. I swear, when we call people out specifically, it happens.
It's not rigged, though, we promise. You guys are almost monetized, right? We're partially monetized. We can get super chats and stuff. Also say you guys got a donation. Would you split it? We, as of right now, we just kind of keep it in like the AdSense account.
Let's go, JJ.
We don't have a bank account connected to it, but
no, anything that we make as far as now, unless we can get to a point where stuff really blows up, whatever. Everything we make right now goes right back into this channel to make it better. Goes back into giveaways for everybody who's in here. So we throw anything that comes in here, it goes right back into
expense. It's an expense account, basically. We're just using it for all.
We have big plans. We have big plans that will be costly in the future.
They offended their soft like KFC.
What's up, Sarah?
Jesus.
Should I trade Keenan Allen and Mostert for JJ in fantasy?
No. That's totally going against your running back philosophy. But then again, Mostert, as we all know, starts off hot and then tears his ACL. So maybe it is a good trade.
Keenan
Allen's also
hard one. The one thing I would say about Mostert is the what we saw out of is it Aiken? I can never know. A Kane. I want no way. JJ, yeah, that card's coming to you, buddy.
That worked.
That card's coming to you, buddy. The thing with seeing Aiken or a Kane, what did you say his name was?
I think it's a Kane.
I
don't know though.
A Kane. How he stepped up with over 200 yards rushing, like 4 touchdowns is incredible. Not every game's gonna
be like that though.
And not every single game is same with Mostert. I mean, Mostert still ended up with 40 fantasy points himself, which is insane. But you do have to wonder, hey, let's go, Gary, our guy here. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
I would you could do that trade. You could, especially if you really wanted JJ. But Keenan Allen is putting up,
especially the Mike Williams injury.
Yep. And Keenan Allen's putting up wide receiver 1 numbers. He's got to be top 5 wide receiver for fantasy. And Mostert's definitely top for running back. The reality, though, is Mostert, if Kane continues to play the way he does, there is a chance where they could look at him as being more of the future and use him more. So the reality is there's going to be a committee type of thing going on in that backfield for sure. It's just, are they going to be able to do that every single week? That offense is so high powered right now that maybe they can do that well. But there's a world out there where Keenan Allen probably is going to be as good as he is, and Mostert is in a committee, and he's going to be inconsistent because of that. And if that was to be the case, JJ would be worth that trade, I think. But right now, with how things are looking between both those players, like Mostert's might even be running back 1 at this point.
He has looked pretty good.
But that's a hard one. I think you could take a chance on that. I think it's going to be a committee in the backfield for Miami. It's just, can they both do what they did last week. I doubt it. No one's dropping 70 points. Literally, this is the first time since 1966.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go. If rigged, they must love Sarah and myself because we won like 5 times each. It's not rigged. It's not rigged. Maybe there's like some sort of algorithm within this giveaway thing
A chain.
and
Okay.
something. I mean, even Skull Mafia won a card on his birthday. Like just weird
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like weird stuff like that.
Oh yeah, didn't I just see that? Didn't they just change that today? Like they were saying his name wrong all the time, and he told them like
A
how he
chain.
wants it
A
pronounced.
chain. A
I
chain.
think
A
I, I
chain.
think
A
I
chain.
saw that. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So that's one thing with them. It's gonna be committee back there. He looks so good. And he was the guy I didn't end up picking him in my fantasy, but he was the guy that I was telling that myself, he was going to be that sleeping running back just because of all the running backs going into this year's draft outside of fantasy draft, outside of Gibbs, who is looking not as good as we were hoping, but well, obviously Viking fans were hoping, but not from a fantasy perspective since I picked him. And then Bijan Robinson, I thought that a chain or a chain. Is it a chain or a chain?
a chain
I think a chain. He had the best chance for playing time out of all these other rookie running backs.
for sure. Well, anything else, or do we covered a lot of topics tonight? So
Yeah, we even hit fantasy a little bit. Yeah,
we did.
I
What
think
else
that's it. Other than go to Purple and Gold for days after this and watch Justin's live show.
Yeah, everybody that hopped in here, we appreciate it. Anybody that dropped some donos, we appreciate that as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we have I don't know content all week, of course. Must win
Wednesday
game.
show.
Every game turns into a must win, I guess, from here on out.
This is the most must win because if we lose this, it might. If we lose this, shit is really hitting the fan.
But like the good thing, at least
Thank
like
you, Zoe. We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it. The good thing about this upcoming run though is we get to see a lot of cool things. We get to see hopefully Bryce Young, we get to see Patrick Mahomes, we get to see the freaking San Francisco 49ers, which I'm actually excited to watch, even though they're probably going to destroy us. We get to play Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase eventually this year. Like there's a lot of fun games and a lot of great matchups. But wait, one more rant I don't have the energy for that.
Come on, just push it all out.
I don't have the energy
right now. If I say the words Kevin O'Connell, how does that make you feel?
Disappointed because I love the man so much. And like if you ever found this, I really hope he doesn't take any offense to it because I do think this guy is the right coach for this football team. It's just disappointing, man. I need to see more. That's it. It's like everybody with Kirk Cousins. They just want to maybe not want to, but like they need to see more, but like they want to believe, but they need to see more before they can believe. So, and that's kind of how it is with me. Like I want to believe that Kevin O'Connell's the guy. I believe he is the guy, but I just want him to prove my beliefs to be accurate.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Play calling,
you know?
Yeah. So we'll see. Obviously, big mistakes at the end of that game.
Big mistakes like Jalen Hurts throwing an interception in the red zone.
Did he?
When
nice.
I'm
playing against him.
Let's go. I have him, I'm going against Tampa's defense and I'm down by 30. So I needed them to just run up the score. But
we all love this team. The bottom line is we all love this team. And at least a majority of us want to do whatever it takes to win a Super Bowl and are willing to do what it takes to win a Super Bowl, which might mean losing and might mean making some tough decisions. That's the reality of it.
Like everybody has,
you know what it takes to win. We've seen what teams do to win.
Right. Everybody has a different viewpoint of how to get there, but we all want to get there. That's the thing. So,
yeah. As Viking fans, we've seen a lot of ways not to get there.
Gotta ask. So since Sean Payton left the Saints, do we still hate the Saints? I don't. I just hate the Broncos now. Yeah, that's fair. Like, I mean, the Saints right now, like you look at that team, there's really nothing like there's no remnants.
I don't hate them as much.
There's no remnants of that 2009 game, you know,
except when I see like any of their old players from that 2009 team, like what's his name? What's their linebacker?
Jonathan Vilma.
Yeah, when I see Vilma,
when I hear him calling
I'm
games,
just like this bitch. Yeah. So any times I see any of the players from that, I feel like they robbed us from a Super Bowl straight up. So
yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, I like Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave is he's very underrated. That dude does not get the respect he deserves. 100%. So I like him. I mean, there's players I like on there. I still
I'm
don't
not a
like.
big I'm not a big I'm not a big Cam Jordan fan, but his
Well,
dad's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. His dad's awesome. And then same with what's their cornerback's name? Uh,
Marshawn
yeah,
Marcus.
Lattimore,
Is it
Marshawn
Marshawn
Lattimore.
Lattimore?
Yeah, Lattimore. Yeah. Because
He's
he had
good.
beef with us, but we have some beef with him
Yeah.
from the. I mean, we beat him, but
Yeah.
yeah, we got beef with him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
They're all right. They're all right. I
Right.
don't hate them the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
I
But
still Packers are the worst still.
yeah, which it's unfortunate they won.
And
And Jordan Love looks somewhat competent sometimes.
we got a confident Lions fan base, which is pretty annoying. And I would say the Bears thing was really annoying me, but they destroyed that themselves. They like brought themselves so high with a hard drop. You almost have to feel bad a little bit, but I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like it was Rick Sainz
Baker
because
Mayfield,
yeah,
pass for
right.
Sean White, fumbles recovered by Philadelphia. This is just a back and forth bullshit.
Oh, Baker Mayfield. Oh, he didn't. He's not.
Rashawn White fumbled.
Okay, I have Baker Mayfield. Unfortunately, that's how my season's going.
Oh, but yeah, no, it's fine. Baker Mayfield doesn't lose any points because of that. Then.
Yeah.
Oh, he does have an interception. Shit, I have Baker Mayfield as well. All my teams are just getting destroyed this week. The Vikings, my fantasy teams. I've realized this year, or like last couple of years, I don't think I'm good at fantasy football. it's not my thing. I don't study. I just draft.
You just gotta listen to me.
I wouldn't say I did that last year with your running back method, and I still barely made the playoffs. But you got to pick the right running backs.
Yeah, that's a hard part, honestly, is especially this year, CMC, everyone should have won CMC and Eli Mitchell.
I could have had him. I could have had him twice. I could have had him in both leagues, and I'd have been a much happier man.
But no. Yeah, you gotta pick the right ones, which is not that hard. You have to make sure you have the running backs that have their backfield 100%. Like they're feature backs. There's only a handful of feature backs in this league. So, I mean, you want to make sure you have them because they're just going to get points no matter what.
And here I am out here drafting freaking Jamar Chase, who 0 catches for 0 yards.
Are you serious right now?
Halfway through the first quarter.
That's crazy. Is Burrow playing?
He is.
Is he?
Yep.
But alrighty.
21. Yeah, we probably hop out of here. It's been a
Hey, I don't know what to say. I want to say let's turn it around. I don't know how I feel when it comes to that.
Let's get to the next game and we'll go.
Let's just get to the next game. Let's get through this game, which pretty much means a win. Pretty much means nothing to me. And then let's go against it. Let's come back. We'll see how we're really feeling after that San Francisco game. That's going to be once we're there. It'll be like, all right, is there actually a chance at this, or is there not? I don't know, but.
Yeah. But anyway, again, everybody that hopped in here tonight, thank you so much. We'll see you guys on Wednesday with Dave on the Skull Experience. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Yeah, JJ, I can just go drop that off to your house, but no, I'm saying it will get to your house pretty quick, buddy. But thanks everybody for popping in. We appreciate you all.
Catch you next time.